Welcome to the podcast, Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business by Coach James Short. This podcast is designed to help you with strategies, insights, and ways to increase sales, build and lead high-performing teams, and ultimately grow your business. Your host, James Short himself, also shares some of his secret sources on how he helps his own clients achieve business growth quickly and easily. James has been coaching those in the real estate and property industry for close to 10 years now, and his clients keep on saying, since working with James, their results have been outstanding, giving them more money, time, and fulfillment. James is offering a free strategy call to those listening to see how he can assist you to take your business to where you want to go. Simply go to jamesshort.com.au/strategy and book in a time today. Now on with the show.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. This is Coach James Short, and oh my goodness, are we lucky to have this next special guest on the show today? Her introduction is the introductions of introductions. Sadhana Smiles, the CEO of Property Management for Harcourts International. She is one of the leading industry movers and shakers. It's just phenomenal, right? So let's go through some of her awards, accolades, and just how she's making a difference in people's world. In 2002, she brought a walk a mile in her shoes to Victoria, getting 250 men and women to walk a mile in Melbourne in high heels. Oh my goodness, would have loved to see particularly those guys. This is now a national event for the group across Australia, raising funds for White Ribbons Breaking the Silence to Schools program and making a clear statement as a group that violence against women is not okay. Love it. She's also founded Links Fiji, which is a not-for-profit focused on providing pap smears to women in remote islands. Cervical cancer is one of the highest causes of death for women in Fiji due to lack of testing. Now, she is 2013 Victorian Telstra Businesswoman of the Year. She's been named the AFR WBC 100 Women of Influence in Australia. She won the Victorian Leader Management of the Year with Institute of Managers and Leaders. The list goes on. She's also published her first book in 2013, which is called People Power. Did you have them at hello? A step-by-step guide to developing and managing high-performance driven teams. We are super excited to have her on the call today. Wow. I mean, we could go on for all day.
Please
so
don't.
Good to have you on. Thank you.
Please don't. It's actually embarrassing when you start reading
I love it. It's so good. So impressive. Thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go back to, I guess, where it all started with your journey within the real estate. How did you end up into the real estate world?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually started off as a receptionist years and years ago. I think I may have been 20 or 21 at the time. I made a terrible receptionist. I was one of those ones that cut people off all the time and didn't take the right messages and phone numbers. And I didn't last very long at the front counter. And the dear old gentleman that I worked for at the time, he was a lovely guy. He's not around anymore and the business is long gone. And I remember him walking down the stairs and sort of, calling out my name and having a conversation with me around how I needed to move on from the front desk. And he put me into an admin role. And I kind of just, for years just floated through the industry, did various jobs, worked for some great businesses, big businesses, did some temping for a while, travelled a lot. And then, I think probably got serious about my career post my divorce. I think there's nothing better than poverty or potential poverty to give you a boot to get serious about stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's the whole motivation of the pain and pleasure component, right? And I think when people have that, or sometimes they're back against the wall, we need to take some action, or we need to do something a little bit differently, and which obviously you have, and look what you've created. It's been a huge journey, and so well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
So where are you now? So CEO Property Management Harcourts International. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I've been in this role now for 6 months, and I took it on because, For real estate agents, there's been a lot of talk for a number of years now around, we're going to be disrupted, we're going to be Uberified, and, all of that discussion. And we've been waiting for it to happen in sales. And what's happened is that we've been so focused on it happening in sales that we've forgotten about the other half of our business that we all have in this industry, and that's property management.
Yeah.
And that is the area that is an overused word, but it is being disrupted. And that's because that is the one area we have long-term relationships with our clients. And their expectations are changing, being driven by other industries and other interactions that they have. And then they bring those same expectations to us. And what we've got at the moment is this environment where our frontline managers, who are the people who deliver the service, we have a gap between the expectation of the client and what we're doing. Yeah. And we've got to close that gap really fast. And if we don't, then I really fear for what could potentially happen. More and more businesses or investors will say, well, why can't I do this on my own? You're the middle guy. If you're not giving me what I want, I can cut the middle guy out. We've seen that happen in so many industries across the globe, right? Yep. So my move into property management was around really looking at this part of the business, all the changes that are happening, people, technology, systems, processes, and looking at how do we drive our business, Harcourts forward as quickly as we can so we become the market leaders in this space.
Fantastic. That will be so exciting because you can draw upon your experience, your knowledge, and other experts that you deal with on a day-to-day basis in and outside the industry to really get a good grasp on that and go, let's go blue sky thinking. What could it be like? How could we, do better, be better, have better results for our clients, and what would that look like? So that's exciting. Yeah. Obviously, there's been some challenges along the way to get to where you are today, and obviously those challenges have shaped you. You've already mentioned a challenge previously. What's some of those standout challenges that you can share with us today around that you've learned from, you've come through the other side, but have really, I guess, taken you personally to another level?
I think life throws challenges to you all the time, right? So it's how you manage it. And, from a business perspective, some of the challenges I face today is my desire to drive the business forward probably a lot faster than people can keep up with me. And that is one of the things in a leadership role you've got to be so aware of because, I have a vision, I have a direction, I have a drive. And then you look around and you go, there's no one here with me.
It's like, come on, hurry up.
What happened? You were there 10 minutes ago and now you're not here with me right now. So actually acknowledging the fact that not everybody is going to work at the same pace that I do. Yep. And so that some of the deliverables are going to take a little bit longer than what they need to. That's probably my biggest challenge. And then, when you do that in a business, you ultimately put pressure on the people that you work with, that you demand the results from. And so you've got to be really aware around, how is that team going to react overall? So it's one of those real double-edged swords environments, right? You want to move forward. You have to move forward. Your clients are demanding you move forward. You've got to drag people along with you. And along the way, make sure that you don't lose people.
Yeah, so true. So true. And we're going to get into the teams in a little bit in a minute. But I want to hear also some of the wins. I mean, you've had some extraordinary wins. What's some of those? What is a win that you look back and go, I'm super proud of that?
You know what? And this is probably going to sound really cliched, and it's nothing to do with my business. It's something to do with my family. I look at my two kids, and they've grown up in an environment with a single mum who's worked her ass off to get to where she's got to. Yep. And, when I went through my divorce, my kids and I were estranged for a period of time, and it's one of the hardest things to go through as a parent. And when we sort of reconnected, one of the things I said to them was that I'm never going to lie to you again. I'm never going to hide things from you guys again. And we need to have such a close connection moving forward that no one or anything is ever going to come between us. And we have done that. And the three of us are very connected. We all have our own lives. We're all super independent of each other. But there's this beautiful codependency that we have that is very, very healthy. And what I'm really proud of is, my daughter is a mini me. And I feel very sorry for her, for her future employers, because she demand a hell of a lot more than what I did.
Did she start at reception?
She did actually, for me. And I look at her and I go, you know what? Tick the boxes. I'm so proud of who she is. And I look at my son, who's turning 21 this year, and he's going to be the guy who gets in the workforce and will expect women to be at the same level, will expect women to be in leadership roles, knows what it's like to be a woman who's had to work in environments where that expectation wasn't there, and seen a mum work really, really hard to get to where she's got to. So I look at my two kids and I go, do you know what? I'm okay with how you guys turned out.
That's so good. It is a proud moment, right? You look back on your kids and who they become independently and as an individual, but from your teachings, the beingness that you've been and the lessons that you've demonstrated, like that, beautiful. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And families are teams, right? We grow up within our own family unit as our own little team, and then as we go into business and we build our own teams. And you would have seen some amazing teams through all the different offices that you worked with, both in and out of the industry. What do you feel that makes, and you've even written a book about it, what do you feel that makes up a winning team?
And that beautiful saying that people have out there, which is culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Yep.
When I first heard that, I was like, really? How does it work? But categorically, culture is the most important thing in any business. Now, that's not an easy thing to achieve, though, and it takes years for the right culture to happen in your business, because it's not just about the behaviours, it's about the type of people you have in the business, how committed they are, how connected they are to the vision, how well your business is performing, how you're performing as a leader, the stresses you bring out of work. There are so many variables, so many influences around that one concept, which is culture, which really is how we do business here. And then you add the layer of client and technology and all that sort of stuff. I think it's a really, really hard thing to create, to keep, and then to keep building on it, purely because one individual isn't in control of it.
Correct. Yeah, that is so true. And so if you then segue that into leadership, right? Because you mentioned, the importance of having a leader in, and everyone's part of the culture, but there's that leader or leaders within the organization. What do you feel that makes up good leaders, and where do you find that most businesses fall down in relations to leadership?
Yeah, it's a great, people can Google this, but the whole concept of leadership shadow, right? It's what you say, how you act, how you prioritize, how you measure, and what is the shadow that you cast across your business. And one of the things that I've learned, and it's really easy to do in a leadership role, is no matter what happens in your business, the buck ends with you, right? It always ends with you at the end of the day. And so looking in the mirror as opposed to pointing out the window is one of the critical things that we've got to learn as a leader. If something goes wrong, I've got to look at myself first before I point the finger at anybody else. The second part of that is that, and one of the things that I've learned through my experiences and watching other businesses is, when you put a goldfish in a bowl, that goldfish is never going to outgrow that bowl, right? Yeah. It's the same thing with leadership. Your business is never going to outgrow your leadership, regardless of how awesome you think you are. It's never going to do that. Yeah. So having an environment where you have the right people around you who have the ability to have those strong conversations with you, to hold up the mirror and to be able to listen and to say, you know what, that time I got it wrong, or I do need to change some of my behaviours. Because leadership is a journey. You learn all the time.
Yeah, totally.
And it's a constant evolving, right? Gilbert says, who works with our leadership team, Gilbert says the competition is against you all the time. It's you against you, right? It's not you against the world. It's you against you. And it's such great advice around leadership. And I kind of really go back to that whenever I find myself in that space where I'm pointing out the window and not at myself.
So true. Love it. Love it. And, you mentioned Gilbert and you mentioned a few others in the past. Who have been some of those mentors or people of influence that have really helped you, guide you, shaped you to where you are today?
Probably, the most important people I work with are my biggest mentors or people who I've got. I've never really had any formal mentoring relationship, but Gilbert Anoka, who is the leadership coach of the All Blacks, has probably been one of the biggest influences in my life. And he gave me a piece of advice many years ago now, and that was master the system and find a way to make it work for you. And it was just a one line. It was said to me over breakfast, and that one line I've carried in the last 7 years of my career with Harcourts, because no matter where you work, there is a system in place.
Totally.
Right? No matter where it is, you've got to master the system and make it work for you. And that's when you become successful. And then there have been others along the way. People have given me some amazing opportunities. Mike and Irene Green and Paul Wright, who own Harcourts, opened the doors up for me, and they gave me some amazing opportunities to do all the things that I've done. You don't achieve all the things that you achieve in your business world if you don't have a tribe of people who support you along the way. Right.
Sure.
So they're probably the key people in my current world right now who've opened doors for me and kept it open. And that's been critical to my success.
Love it. Oh, I love those quotes. I love those that just sing so true to the heart. It's beautiful. So if you were to give 3 pieces of advice for those looking to grow their business, what would be those 3 pieces of advice be?
If you're looking at growing your business, the first thing I think would be the culture piece.
Mm-hmm.
Is to be really clear on what you want your culture to look like, and then treat it like a living organism. You need to water it, you need to feed it, you need to fertilize it, you need to show it some love and respect, because otherwise your culture is not going to be what you want it to be. The second piece of advice will be empathy. At the end of the day, people remember how you make them feel, and you're not always going to get it right. None of us are perfect. We all work under high pressure roles, particularly in leadership. And when things sometimes are not going the way you want it to go, elements of personalities come out that you may need to reflect on. So empathy is, I think, a big piece around that leadership piece. And the last piece would be high levels of self-awareness. It is knowing that at that point you are 100% right, or I'm sticking to my guns on that, or I know I'm going to cause some disruption in this conversation, or this is my firm belief and I'm not moving and I'm not shifting. But to have high levels of self-awareness of all the choices that you make as a consequence, either as on a result for you or on other people. And it's advice I've given my kids all the time. Do what you want to do. Aim for the stars. Aim higher, but understand every decision that you make, every choice that you make has a consequence. Be prepared to pay the price.
So true. So true. And I think that I see all those 3 pieces of advice beautifully entwined amongst one another, right? Like with the culture, with the empathy, everything is just, it's looking at in the self-awareness, it's all they're all intertwined. And that's where I guess looking at that can really take you as a business leader, but also the business to the next level, because it's so important, all those 3 elements.
And I think that if I was going to add a 4th one in there, if I can.
Sure.
And that would be, I believe, and particularly where we are today globally as leaders, for those of us who are privileged enough to have leadership positions, you must stand for something. You must stand for something. And what you stand for must come from your core. Not everybody may agree with it. Not everybody may be aligned with it. Not everybody may be connected with it. But you must stand for something from your core and make a difference around it. And I think that is the biggest piece, I believe, at times is missing from good leadership. We spend too much time pleasing the crowd as opposed to taking a stand.
Love it. So true. So true. So what does the next 2 to 3 years look like for you?
I'd like to see the Harcourts property management business evolve and become the market leader from a business perspective. From a personal perspective, I have a business myself that I own, a small rent roll. I'd like to see that grow, and I'd like to retire in 6 years' time. I do. I want to retire in 6 years' time and, sit in Positano and have a very nice glass of champagne and spend the last, 20 plus years of my life actually enjoying and reaping the rewards of the hard work that I've done. And so for me, it's very much been focused on I've got 6 years.
Yep.
Do what I need to do, and then I'm out of here. Somebody else can take this, baton and run with it, but I'm out of here. I want to enjoy. I don't want to be this person who hangs on to a business life because I've got nothing else to do.
Yeah, so true. Love it. So how can the listeners, how can the tribe find out more about yourself and your journey and what's coming up?
Hey, lots of ways. I mean, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can ask me to speak at your conferences or events that you've got. I love to do that. I love to share my story with people. I'm a big one for giving up my time. If people want to connect with me and come and see me, have a coffee with me, I believe in that reciprocal relationship. You give me something, I give you something, and it works for both of us. Yeah. I think that's what makes the world go around. My blogs. I'm always having a rant about something somewhere,
Oh, love it. Well, thank you so much for your time, energy, expertise, and everything in between. It's lovely to chat. Love to really find out your journey and just to get those gold nuggets and really have that awareness. So really appreciate your time. Sadhana, thank you once again.
Thanks, James. Thanks for having me.